you wearing that stupid sweater?
But seriously, why is he wearing that stupid sweater? Well, I bet that you have a ton of unanswered questions regarding the newest Severance episode, and that's completely okay because I have some really good answers for you, and I promise you, they will blow your mind. We finally learn that Gemma is alive. You might know this already, but there are a ton of parallels between Helena and Gemma, both visually and also story-wise. It's not only that, but they're also dressing her as every other Egan woman that we've seen so far. What an absolutely insane episode of Severance. Today we're breaking down who Gemma really is, why she's at Lumon, and what exactly they're trying to do to her. There's a lot to cover, so let's begin right away. I'm Deribo, your host for the evening, and if dissecting Severance is your jam, please make sure to like and subscribe. Mark has been adamant throughout the show that his wife is dead. Because of that, we've all assumed with certainty that Gemma was gone forever and that Miss Casey was just some sort of a clone. But despite the creators of the show denying the clone theory, the Severance community remained convinced that if she wasn't a clone, she was still something similar. However, that assumption couldn't be further from the truth. Before we dig deeper, keep in mind that Lumon is working on a clock. There's an endpoint to all of this testing, which is something that Mr. Drummond hints at in this sequence.
He's stuck at 96%.
The nosebleed set us back. When he's done, you're gonna have to say goodbye to her.
I'm aware.
Look here.
Fakir.
Now, this is where things get really interesting. The nosebleeds and the recent events with Mark and Helly might be the only reason that Gemma is still alive. But why? Well, here's what I think is happening. Mark and Gemma donated blood at an event run entirely by Lumon. As their relationship progressed, they started considering having kids, but they struggled with fertility issues. This led them to seek help at a very specific clinic. Now you might be wondering, why do these farms have Lumon logos on them, or why is Dr. Mauer also in the clinic? Well, believe it or not, this entire city is essentially run by Lumon. The show has hinted at this multiple times, and the Lexington letter confirms it. Many businesses and institutions, even in the public sector, work for Lumon. The show is making a big statement about megacorporations shaping the lives of those near them, whether people realize it or not. Now, here's where things get dark. Even after Gemma's miscarriage, they were still looking at options. Then, these cards started showing up in the mail. If they look familiar, it's because they are. They're the exact same cards that triggered the first overtime contingency on Dylan. Remember when Dylan stole something from OND, not realizing what it was? Well, we saw Mr. Melchick take it back to Burt. And that is one of the biggest reasons I believe that Burt is an undercover Lumon agent, or maybe something even bigger, like a board member. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, that's completely okay. I have a whole video on this theory and I highly recommend checking it out. It's one of the most intriguing mysteries in the show. Now, whatever these cards are, Gemma was drawn to them, and seemingly passed some kind of a test. So this could be a quote-unquote recruiting of some sorts by Lumon, which leads me to believe that one of the two things happened. Well, A, she was kidnapped that night and Lumon replaced her body, and let's be real, Lumon has connections everywhere. In the police force, hospitals, even morgues. And just look at the interior design of OND. It literally looks like a morgue. And second, she went to Lumon willingly, possibly lured in by the promise of having a child if she volunteered for some kind of an experiment. Either way, she was singled out. My theory? Well, Lumon doesn't experiment on just anyone. These people are handpicked for some reason. We don't know the exact criteria, but there's clearly something that makes them ideal candidates. And as of now, Gemma is alive, but trapped on the testing floor. She's breathing, but she's not living. She's being tested on, and the evidence suggests that there are 24 different versions of her. If splitting yourself in half with the severance procedure was disturbing, imagine what Gemma is going through. And, well, here's the proof. When she enters the dentistry with Dr. Mauer, she says, "I was just here." That sounds a lot like the Ini experience, where time doesn't exist in a linear way and every day feels like a continuous loop.
Could I please get a break? Just for a little while.
But it's been 6 weeks.
I was just here.
Mark explained it best. They know that their body is rested. They can feel the effects of sleep, but they never experience sleep itself. At least, all of them except for Irving, which, again, is an interesting point, and we'll get there. Bear with me.
We lose you again there, buddy?
Dr. Mauer reinforces this when he asks Gemma.
What room caused your hand to hurt?
Then, in the Christmas room, she says,
It's always Christmas.
"So which one is it? Is it non-stop dentist appointments, non-stop plane crashes, or is it always Christmas?" Well, it's all of them. Let's put this another way. Lumon is testing Operation Beehive, a system where everyone gets a chip in their head under the promise of avoiding everyday suffering. However, this results in absolute submission, creating a hive mind that ultimately serves Kier. Sounds familiar? That's because it is. Operation Beehive and the concept of total submission have been key themes throughout the show. What we're seeing now could be the final confirmation of Lumon's true objective. And here's the big question. What if they take away the ultimate pain? What if, much like the plane crash scenario, you never get to experience death at all?
I think this is a good time to remind ourselves that things like deaths happen outside of here. Not here. A life at Lumon is protected from such things.
Could that be what Cold Harbor is? The death of an individual where activating the chip causes the Any to endure the experience while the Outie awakens in a new body. Essentially, altered carbon. The theme of resurrection has been teased repeatedly, even down to the book Resurrection on the Fridge and the episode title. I don't want to butcher the title, so please feel free to pause and kind of read through this short description on Reddit. To sum it all up, I believe Lumon has singled out Gemma and Mark because their relationship mirrors Kier and his wife in some significant way. Falling in love through industry, having Russian ties, and possibly more we have yet to uncover. They're working to develop the ultimate chip, one that ensures absolute submission to Lumon and Kier under the guise of a pain-free existence. And they might have found a way to resurrect people, not necessarily through cloning, but perhaps by copying and transferring consciousness, or as Kier Egan himself would put it, refining the four tempers. That brings me to my very last point. The film Click also explores little bits and pieces of what we just talked about. It's all about what it feels like to skip through life. But Lumon is using that as a guise to have an army of fully submitted subjects. For those of you who have seen Click, please tell me I'm not crazy to make this connection. Because you know who creates that remote control in that film? Well, let's have a look because it's none other than our very own Burt. Thank you so much for watching. That's all I have for this video, but there's much more to come. If deep dives into Severance are your thing, be sure to subscribe, like, and share your thoughts, theories, and ideas in the comments. I read and respond to everything, and trust me, some of the best insights come from the amazing community in the comments section. Definitely check it out. So I'll catch you in the next one. But until then, take care, stay safe, and praise Kier.